like coming home to a hot meal on a cold day. Ginny McCormack has mastered the pot roast. Along with perfect side dishes, it's a must-have meal for winter. Welcome, Ginny.
Good morning.
So great to have you with us,
you.
as always.
Thank you.
It's always wonderful. It smells great and it's beautiful.
Thank you. The ultimate comfort food.
Yes.
I'm very comfortable in here with this.
And pot roast seems to be one of those things that every woman needs to know how to make.
It is. It is. Developed in the 1880s in this country. Okay.
Really?
Yes. Back then it was hard to get really good tender pieces of beef that were reasonably priced. So, you know, necessity is the mother of invention. Someone said, let's stick a thicker, tougher cut of meat into a pot, cover it with some liquids and aromatics, and cook it for a long time. And that would bring out the tenderness, and that's sort of how oftentimes people still prefer the chuck roast. So it's reasonable, and that's what I would suggest. Now, what we're going to start out here with is a balsamic everyday pot roast. Okay, named for your show. You can have it every day. Your own dish. And what I have done is I have taken the chuck roast and I have cut it into 6 to 8 pieces, which gives me an opportunity to trim off some of the fat. Okay, so, and also it's going to speed the cooking time. So what I have done is I have heated about 4 tablespoons of olive oil. I have browned my meat for about 4 or 5 minutes on each side. It's not cooked all the way through yet. Just browned, which gives me all these wonderful drippings and brown bits here.
And it smells good. Now, a balsamic, I have not
We're going to add that. It's going to give it a little bit of a kick. Not too much. You don't want to overdo the vinegar or you're going to end up with something more German influence like a sauerbraten. You don't want that flavor, but it's going to give it just a bit of a kick.
Okay.
Also, the nice thing is it speeds the cooking time by having the smaller pieces. What I've got here, as you can see, are the drippings that are left. Okay. All right. And I have let those, they're good and hot. We're going to add about 2 large onions, chopped, okay? This is where the kids can come in and help.
Okay.
Right? I had one kid yesterday chop the onions and one wash the mushrooms for me.
You have lots of helpers.
There's always opportunity in my kitchen for some work to be done. So, and then we have 1 container of the sliced baby bella mushrooms, okay? Here's a key ingredient and my little secret. I brought the bag so you can see how easy it is to buy these things.
Sun-dried tomatoes.
Sun-dried tomatoes, about 3 ounces. In they go. Okay.
Oh, that's easy.
Oh, and this is going to start to smell wonderful. These are your vegetables, okay? They're going to start cooking down. We're simply using the drippings, and as I'm doing that, I'm just kind of tossing them around just a bit. Make sure we have it going good and high. We do. Now, you want to have this on high heat, and don't be afraid to let that meat sizzle and fry, and you want to get it nice and brown on the outside.
So good and hot.
Good and hot. And 3 steps to a perfect pot roast are brown, deglaze, and braise. We've done the browning, okay, and we're about to do the deglaze. While we let those vegetables cook up just a little bit, let's go with our side dish now. Okay? All right. What I have got here is a recipe for creamy horseradish whipped potatoes. Okay, basically mashed potatoes with a little bit of a slight kick to it, and you can control how much.
Marcus loves a little horseradish, so he's going to like this.
He likes a little kick in his potatoes. I am starting out with something very easy to do. I have purchased 2 packages, each 24 ounces of the refrigerated mashed potatoes.
I love those things.
Okay, don't ever feel guilty about using that. I am a big fan. They are 100% real, fresh mashed potatoes.
And they're tasty, and the texture is good.
Now, if you want to mash those potatoes at home, you can. But you know what?
It's just so much faster.
This is a wonderful shortcut. I have melted 4 tablespoons of butter. Okay.
And those are usually
We're going to whip that together here, okay, along with about a half a cup of half and half. Now, you can use regular milk if you prefer, okay? About 2 teaspoons of salt. Okay, we're going to turn this up so it starts getting good and hot. And here's our horseradish. Anywhere between 2 and 4 teaspoons, depending on how bold you are. So Marcus may want more.
He may.
Put a half a bottle in there if you want to.
He loves that horseradish.
We're going to stir that around, get those good and creamy. And I mean, this is just the easiest thing in the world. Easiest thing in the world. And
wow.
It's going to get nice and hot. Now, I like to put the pot roast directly on top of this. I don't even put it on the side.
Oh, that
Let's check on our veggies here.
Yeah.
They're sizzling and going, okay? Now, they're going to continue to cook just a little bit. And remember, they're going to braise in the oven for quite a while. Now comes the fun part, okay?
Okay.
Okay, 2 tablespoons of flour. This is going to help your gravy thicken up, okay?
Okay.
You don't need to do what my mother did after church on Sunday, standing there in her Sunday dress and her slippers.
Yeah.
You know, because we had to go back to church. We had to go back to church Sunday night. So she didn't want to get undressed, but she put her slippers on, and she'd be whisking the flour into the gravy, and sometimes there were lumps. This, I'm putting it in with the vegetables now, and it's going to help later in thickening up your wonderful
what a great
gravy.
trick.
Yes. Okay, 2 to 3 cloves of minced garlic. Okay. About 2 to 3 teaspoons of salt. By the way, recipes are all on my website and yours.
Yes,
okay?
and you always have great pictures. And
I've got pictures of all of this for you. I'm very visual, so that helps me a lot. A half a teaspoon of smoked paprika.
Ooh.
And it's not always good to have a lot of smoked paprika. Just because you love it doesn't mean that more is necessarily better. I learned that the hard way. One of the pot roasts got tossed out.
A little too much paprika.
A little too smoky, and I'm stirring it around now. The second step of our pot roast is to deglaze our pan, okay? Deglazing just means adding a liquid and scraping up the brown bits that have formed on the bottom of the pot.
And especially when you've added some flour, you're going to get a little more of the stuff on the bottom.
And you want to loosen that up, absolutely. And then we've got 1 cup of beef stock, okay? Just store-bought beef stock or beef broth. 2/3 of a cup of red wine, okay? And if you don't want to purchase a whole bottle of red wine, you know, you can buy them in those little convenient containers, which is wonderful. Usually that's going to be all you need if you're using it for cooking.
Oh, okay.
My little secret ingredient, about 1/3 of a cup of balsamic vinegar.
Wow.
Okay.
That is a secret ingredient.
It is, and it's not too much. It's not too much. It just gives it a little bit of a zing, a little bit of a zip to it, okay? Now, and we bring that back up a little bit and allow that to cook maybe for just a minute or two.
Okay. And you're on a little bit of a small burner there.
I got a small burner going, but I think we got some heat going here. I might be able to switch it over. Why don't I try this?
There you go.
Bring it back
That's
here.
a bigger one.
Okay. And all you want to do really is just have the flavors meld for just another minute or two.
Bring that up a little higher for you. Good.
There we go. Because actually it's about to go in the oven.
Okay.
Now, what we're going to do is we're going to take our browned chuck that we browned earlier. We're going to return that to the pan.
Back on top of that.
Nestle it right back down in there.
And all those flavors are going to seep in.
Oh, yes. Well, you know, I notice I say this with almost everything that I make. It makes the house smell so good, but it really does. It really does. It's going to smell like winter. Don't forget the juices that came off of the meat.
Put all that back on there.
Okay. There you go. It's all nestled down. Now, here's the second part of the trick to having this pot roast cook quicker than any other pot roast you've ever had. 1, we've cut our meat into large chunks. It's going to cook quicker. 2, we're going to take a piece of, here you go.
Is it going to be hot? Do you want me to turn that down?
I'll turn it off for you right there.
There you go.
We're going to take a large piece of aluminum foil right over the top. You're going to take your hands, literally press down.
Really?
Yes, I promise this works. I can feel the pot roast underneath. I'm literally pressing down here, and then I'm going to pinch the edges all the way around. So you're not
leaving room in the top?
I'm not leaving a lot of air in there, okay? What's going to happen is the juices are going to come up. They're going to just sort of infuse each other. There's not a lot of room in there. The juices have nowhere to go. They're not going to adhere to the top. It's just going to speed the cooking process by reducing the amount of air in there. And you know, a lot of cooks use this technique, and I find it works.
That's a great tip. I've not seen that before.
And rather than the typical 3 to 4 hours for a pot roast, okay, this one will be done in under 2 hours.
Really?
Just under 2 hours, yes. 325.
Okay.
For about 2 hours. You're gonna know it's gonna when you pull it out. In fact, we're gonna take a look at one right now that we've already made.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, you've got a finished one in there.
I have a finished. Oh yeah.
Good.
Well, how are we gonna eat one if I don't have a finished one?
Oh boy.
I gotta have a.
Marcus loves pot roast.
Gotta have a good one. Yes, I have promised some of this to the people here in the studio, so we want to make sure. Let's see, use this right here. Pull that off. Off it comes.
Look at that.
Oh yes.
Oh, that smells good.
This is so good. You know what?
And those tomatoes have soaked up all the juices.
Everything has been absorbed, okay? All the flavors are just, and there's an intense flavor here. It's just hard to duplicate. It really is, and you'll notice with the vinegar. Now, what I like to do is start out with just
you're going to plate it now.
I'm going to plate it right now.
Oh, look at those creamy potatoes with the horseradish underneath this.
Right.
That is beautiful.
Isn't that nice? And this is just a wonderful thing to have any night of the week. I like to do it. I plop them right on top.
Yummy.
I do. Make sure you get plenty of those wonderful
juicy
mushrooms
and yummy
in there.
Oh, that looks good.
Okay. I'm telling you, we have enjoyed this so much at my house. We absolutely have. And of course, I'll get you a fork here so you can give it a try. Now, what we can do, if you want to, feel free to sort of experiment and try new flavors. If you want more of an Italian style pot roast, you could add a can of tomato paste, right? If you want more of a German sauerbraten.
Those flavors are so good. Oh, I'm killing it.
Oh, here you go. You're gonna keep that.